The Hash It Out Show is brought to you by Barreto Home Solutions, Bayou Audio and Video, Hot Works on the North Shore, JFK Martial Arts in Mandeville and Covington, Black Hawk Hauling, Lil Dizzy's Cafe, Wags Food and Culture, Moe's Pizza, The Green Law Firm, Personal Injury Attorney, Drums Earwear.
Hands up, hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning.
Going on, folks, and welcome to the Hash It Out Show right here on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. I'm VK Jones. We definitely appreciate you joining us this morning. Our special show we have today on Lundy Gras. We definitely appreciate it. We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to preview some prep basketball, some very intense matchups in the last week of the regular season, including a preview of the girls' playoffs. And we'll talk about last night's Super Bowl. But we have my co-host that's going to be joining me today, Jared JB Boyd. Will join us later on. George Peppers, what's going on with you, man?
Good morning, VK. I'm doing wonderful, man, and I'm excited that everybody can wake up with the Hash It Out Show. We're doing an 11 o'clock morning show, and there's a reason. We got a very special guest, and I'm so excited to have this happen.
Yes, we do. Without further ado, let's introduce our special guest for this morning. It's an honor and a privilege to bring on the man that has led the LSU baseball Tigers back to prominence, to last year's national championship, and get ready to defend it as they start their season this weekend. We have the head coach of the LSU baseball Tigers, Coach Jay Johnson. Good morning, Coach.
How you guys doing? Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. And man, it is good to have you this morning. And we thank you to agree to join us. First of all, Coach, man, I know y'all been practicing, working hard, scrimmages. Are you ready to get things going for the 2024 season?
You know, I'm a coach, so I love practice. You know what I mean? But I'm pretty sure our players are ready to roll and get some outside competition in here. And we've probably hit that point where we're not going to improve until we play somebody else now. And it's time. We've had a great month, a lot of good improvement individually and as a team, and certainly excited to roll out there and get this thing going.
Absolutely. And first of all, Coach, you know, we usually ask this on the Hash It Out Show. What made you want to become a coach?
Yeah, my dad was a legendary football and track coach in Northern California. He was my high school football coach, and just kind of growing up, really just wanted to be like him. I mean, he was the best of the best in terms of work ethic, character, integrity, organization. Learned a lot of toughness from him, and so honestly, I just wanted to be like my dad. That's kind of where it started.
Amazing. Almost, it sounds almost similar to stories like with Skip Bertman saying about his beginning time, but it's amazing. And it seemed like you have a lot of love for the game of baseball. And I know you was a player back in the days and stuff like that. How it was as a player transitioning to becoming a coach?
Yeah, I think growing up at my house, as I mentioned, like competing and trying to be the best, that's like all I ever knew. And was very proud to finish a college baseball career and play for 5 years. I definitely knew I wasn't going to the major leagues. So it just took about 10 minutes to decide. I started thinking about coaching, and my college coach immediately hired me and put me on staff. And I really started right away. And this is all I've kind of known from a professional.
Wow. Very much amazing. You had a lot of opportunities. You started in the West Coast more than anything else. You started over at San Diego, University of San Diego. You did pretty good over there. You also was in the NAIA division coaching. Then you went to Nevada, did pretty well over there, and then to Arizona and led them to a couple trips to the College World Series. You know what I'm saying? So how it was transitioning from one level of college to the other.
Yeah, I think I was very fortunate. Like I said, my college coach hired me, and he gave me a lot of responsibility that coaches that are 24, 25 years old don't get. And I learned on the fly, learned from some success, plenty of mistakes, those types of things. And it really advanced me, And then when I went to San Diego to coach with Rich Hill at the University of San Diego, I learned a lot more of how to do it. So I kind of had the best of both worlds, where I was thrown into the fire and then got to also learn from somebody that was really, really good.
Absolutely. Taking a look, like more than anything else, Arizona did very, very well. How was making the adjustments? Because I heard this at the baseball luncheon and stuff like that, how you had to make the transition from being to the West Coast to the South, and then all of a sudden how you embraced Louisiana, especially as a state, and all the coaches and everything else.
Yeah, it's been great. When I went to Arizona, I viewed that was probably going to be my lifetime job. That's one of the best programs in the West. I'm a West Coast guy, a lot of tradition. I really liked where we were at, and I believed like the best was yet to come. We got to Omaha twice in 5 tries and almost won a national championship. But this is LSU, and for me, this is the preeminent program in college baseball, and I knew this was only going to come along once in my entire lifetime, and felt blessed that it came along at all. And so I was excited to dive into that and to go for it. And as far as moving out here, for me, the people always make the place. And, the people I deal with are my players first and foremost. We've obviously had a ton of success, had a great group. It was great to invest in them. And then just the support that we have for our program, just like that event that I saw you at. I mean, it's a lot of people that get behind college baseball in this state. And that's awesome. As far as the culture, I'm not a very tall guy, so I gotta watch my eating habits out here. That's for sure.
I definitely understand that myself. I lost a lot of weight. I gained some back, but I'm trying to get better and better myself, Coach. So you're not alone on
we
that
together
one.
on this one.
Yes, yes. Now I've been following LSU since I was a younger guy, since I was a kid. I'm 45 now. It's been amazing to see the history of it. When you learned more about the LSU history, what made you embrace LSU baseball, especially when you got here and made the adjustment to being at LSU and coaching that program?
Yeah, I was pretty aware of it, to be honest with you. I mean, growing up as a kid, you couldn't, and you can relate to this, you couldn't turn on the TV for the College World Series, and it was almost like not see a purple jersey running around the field. I remember being in junior high, and I mean, I had this hat, in California, because I thought, oh, wow, wouldn't it be cool to play college baseball at a place like LSU? They're in Omaha all the time. And so, I was pretty aware of that. And then, moving forward, you're just kind of paying attention, as a coach, like, what are the places, you know what I mean? Whether it's LSU, Texas, Florida, these things don't come along very often. And when this kind of came my way, it was like, I'm very happy where I'm at, but I have to look at this. And, and when I looked at it, it was pretty much a no-brainer decision.
We are live with Jay Johnson, the head coach of the LSU baseball Tigers, here on the Hash It Out Show on YouTube Live and Facebook Live. VK Jones, George Peppers, and actually, there's one question I'm gonna let George Peppers take over on the questions. Tommy White, I mean, came up big for you last season, and I didn't even realize it until I read a couple stories. He had an injury last year, and he fought through it to get through the season, and now he had surgery, I believe, on the shoulder, and now 100%. Seems like he's very, very courageous. And I know listening to some of the interviews, you're very excited that he's now 100% ready to go.
Yeah, he's the best hitter in the country, and that's with great respect for the other guys out there. You know, J.J. Weatherhold at West Virginia, Travis Pisano, Oregon State. There's obviously plenty in the SEC. Just Tommy's special competitor, special power, special hitting skills, and about as productive for your team as you could ask for. So, and he did tough it out. Had surgery right after the College World Series, missed fall, but he doesn't look like he's missed much, you know, getting back in the spring and ready to roll. So excited about that.
George Peppers, go ahead, take it away.
Gotcha. Coach Johnson, first of all, thank you. Like VK, thank you for taking the time for joining us. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. And my first question, let's go back to last year. It was a great run last year. You guys won the national championship. Some bumps in the road along the way. But at what point of the season last year did you feel like, man, this group might just be the one to get me to the national title?
Yeah, I actually have a very clear answer on that. We were finishing fall baseball, and I believe it was the last weekend of fall baseball, and you're allowed to play 2 outside games. And we went over to play Louisiana Lafayette, and my good friend Matt Deggs, who's a great coach, and they do a great job with that program. And they had a great team, obviously. They went to a Regional 2, won 40 games. And we completely dominated them for 18 innings. Like, I think we only gave up 4 hits, you know, 2 or 3 runs, hit the ball over the fence, clutch hitting, played clean defense. And it was kind of like, okay, like it's all here. Like it's all here. And Paul Skeens like didn't even pitch that day. I mean, that was the thing about it. And we knew how good he was. So that was probably the day. And then, you know, the thing I'm most proud of is not just the talent, not how it all came together, but these guys showed up and worked every day. You know, we had this saying, you know, we want to act like number 1, but we're going to work like we're number 2. And they played with the confidence of a number 1 type team, but always worked in a way like we had something to prove or something to get better at, and kind of manifested itself in this really great season. And we were really consistent. You know, there's no way you're going to go through SEC baseball without a little bit of adversity. The league's too good. The game lends itself to that. But we responded to that, and what an awesome group.
That it was, and it was a great ride. We can. I actually watched that national championship clincher in the 3rd game against Florida after getting with, and that's where I want to go next. When you guys got beat down pretty bad in the 2nd game against Florida, what was the mindset? What did you tell your team to get them to recover so quickly, and then just completely and thoroughly dominate Game 3, the decider?
You know, I get asked that question a lot, but I think, you know, it was really simple. It was, we went back in the locker room, and it was like on January 14th, you know, we committed that this was our goal, was to win the national championship. Like, our players knew we were good enough to do it. And so you can peel back everything that had happened for 70 games, you know, including the 24-4 blowout. This team tomorrow night, 1 game to win the national championship. We all would have signed up for that. Like, we're in position to accomplish our goal. And really, the next most important thing was we needed some rest, because falling into the losers bracket, you know, we'd played 5 games there in 6 days. I think it ended up being 8 in 10 days, you know, total. And it would being that it was a day game, we were finally going to get like an evening, morning, all day. And I felt like, you know, just kind of mentally and physically recovering from the grind of what we were going through to get to that point was going to help us. And our players responded as they always did in true champion fashion.
And that's what people don't really understand. You know, when you go into a loser's bracket in a tournament setting, your pitching gets exhausted a little bit, and it's a lot of quick turnarounds and everything else. And for you guys, the way it manifested itself in the tournament and to the College World Series, courageous effort by you guys, and you prove you were the best team. But I remember in Game 3, VK, as we mentioned, we were at watching the game, and the tease was, would Paul Skeens hit the mound in that Game 3? And I don't think he ever did. And VK and I were having a friendly discussion. It was like, when's he going to pull the trigger? When's he going to pull the trigger? And I was like, I don't know if he will, because the bats came alive, and it looked like I didn't think he needed to at that point. Was there ever any consideration that Skeens was going to hit the bump for Game 3?
Oh yeah, for sure. And it was weird being me in this situation because
Mm,
you have all of professional baseball, all of the baseball industry and community going like, "Hey, you can't put this guy on a mound." He threw 120 pitches 3 days ago,
right.
and 140, or excuse me, 4 days later threw 120 pitches in the opener against, or 4 days earlier, excuse me. So
Hmm.
he'd had a heavy workload, and so the night before we just talked like, okay, what are you thinking? Like, how do you feel? What do you think the limit is? And we're just having a discussion. And he said, I think I probably got about 30 pitches in the tank. And I was like, okay, that sounds reasonable to me. And the guy just knew we was going to get about to get $9 million. We could not get him hurt. So then we talked about, are you going to start or, stay in your routine? Or I was never going to bring him in the middle of an inning. Like, he would have had to start an inning, so he had a full chance to warm up. And then he
Hmm.
said something that was really profound. He goes, "Coach, I'll do that if that's what you want me to do, but I just want my pitches to matter." And then I started thinking about that, and then what I didn't want to do was start him and then see him go out of the game. I thought that would give Florida like an emotional boost, and I didn't
Right.
want to do that. And so he was only going to pitch the 8th and the 9th inning in a tie game, or a game that, or where we had the lead, or if the top of their order came up in the 7th inning, I was going to bring him in the 7th and the 8th inning, and then we would have had to have somebody close it out. And he was ready to do it. And deep down, the competitor Paul is. He wanted the 9th inning, but with a 14-run lead, there was no way we were going to put him in jeopardy of getting hurt. And I'm very thankful for the way that it all worked out, and very thankful for Paul. Him coming here was, life-changing decision for a lot of people, and including himself, and
Mhm.
super proud of him.
Uh, Looking at going into this year, how is it going to feel being the hunted rather than hunter? I mean, now you guys are the team everybody's looking to knock off. Is there a different kind of pressure coming into this year? It is LSU, and LSU is used to winning a lot. But is for that was your first national championship last year. Now you're looking to defend it. Is there a different kind of pressure for this year, considering you're the champs and and you're going to take everybody's best shot?
I don't think so. And the reason I say that is because we were the unanimous number one team, and we were the number one team in the country for 13 straight weeks. And last year's team had more expectation on it than anything I've ever seen in my entire life. And so, in one sense, from a program standpoint, we've already kind of gone through that. And so I don't view it as a whole lot different. The little bit of the difference, though, is the players. There's several players that are different. And
Hmm.
so, for me, we always try to remind them the only expectations that matter are, number one, is we're going to go undefeated on preparation. We're going to be the most prepared team on game day. And number two, we're going to give our entire effort to execute our individual job to help the team win. If those two expectations are met, I can live with the result.
Sounds like a plan. But this year you don't have Paul Skeens. Talk about this pitching staff this year, and just basically tell us what to expect from that group that you have coming back this year.
Yeah, I'm excited about this pitching staff. We have, obviously some key returners, Thatcher Hurd, Griffin Herring, Nate Ackenhausen, Gavin Guidry. Those guys were instrumental in us winning the national championship, all pitched great in the postseason, pitched great in Omaha. So that's a
Mhm.
good starting point. Then we did a great job in the transfer portal with Luke Holman, Gage Jump. And then we have some guys that were here last year that are improved, that didn't pitch a whole lot. And we got a couple really good freshmen with Cameron Johnson and Kate Anderson. So really like where we're at from a pitching staff standpoint.
And the hitting, I mean, obviously we came into Tommy White. He's back, and you got a really good assortment of guys that can hit it all over the baseball park. And talk about that as into this year.
Yeah, I think the offense is the most improved part of the team here in the early season. We've had a really good month. We're a lot deeper than I thought we were. Some of the young players have really advanced themselves. And then a couple really good transfers as well. Mac Bingham, who played for me for 2 years at Arizona, somehow didn't get drafted and ended up, transferring here this year. Michael Braswell, shortstop at South Carolina. really happy to have Michael. He's really playing lockdown defense, really improved as a hitter. And then, you know, you got a group of guys that, you know, were key to that. We mentioned White and Travinsky earlier. And then some guys that, you know, we're looking to take a step forward with, you know, like Paxton Kling, Brady Neal, Jared Jones, you know, that kind of crew. So there's a lot of good options and really excited about them.
The SEC has been one of the more preeminent conferences in all of college baseball. Obviously, you and Florida played for the national title last year, but it's not just you two guys. Tennessee has a good team every year. Ole Miss, Mike Bianco does a great job there. Arkansas, you know, Coach Van Horn does good there. The depth of the SEC, there's really no night off. Talk about what you know about the SEC this year from the teams that are obviously that are there, Florida, Tennessee, and all those. Talk about the depth of the SEC.
Yeah, I explain everybody that the SEC is now the moon compared to the rest of college baseball. Like it's completely separated itself, and that's with great respect. You know, as a Pac-12 guy, you know, sad that conference is going away. But you just mentioned it, and we have 30 league games. I think half of our league schedule is against preseason top 10 teams. So that tells you everything that you need to know. I blame Skip Bertman. You know, he built this monster, and then everybody saw you could build a revenue-producing baseball program if you invest in it, and now everybody's good. So I give him the credit for the LSU job being the best job in the country and making it a lot more difficult than it used to be because everybody saw what they could do with their baseball programs down here.
Now, with the fact that you guys are the national champions and having to defend that title, what's going to be the message to the players to keep them, you know, on focus and on laser focus and understanding the challenges that await?
Well, first off, I will give them a ton of credit. We've had a great preseason, and they've brought it every single day, and very proud of them for that. We've improved immensely, and I think that's just it. Is just like we're not trying to defend anything. We're trying to attack a new opportunity in 2024, and it's a completely different team. You know, there's new players. It's their time. And that's what this is about now. We'll always celebrate 2023. I mean, trust me. When at the appropriate times, have those guys back for reunions, and it deserves to be celebrated. But right now, the 2024 team, you know, deserves all of our attention, and we're excited to attack this new opportunity.
As you should. And I feel like this team, and, you know, you guys are ranked number 2, number 1 in some polls and whatnot. And look, coaches, I know what coaches are going to say about polls. They're just numbers. I mean, it is what it is. That's just opinions. Everybody has them. With that said, you told a story a couple of weeks ago at the baseball kickoff luncheon about you and Scott Woodward, the AD, on a duck hunting trip. How did that go?
Yeah, he's the best athletic director in all of college. I mean, I feel very fortunate to work with him. He's supportive and very thankful. I hadn't been duck hunting in like 31 years, so I got to be honest with you. I was a little nervous, but my dad is an avid duck hunter in Northern California. And I swear, like, I told him I was going, and like he couldn't wait to talk to me about it. I think he was more proud that I went out and shot some ducks than when we won the national championship. So it was a great time. Had a good time, and just trying to check off my Louisiana boxes one by one. So
that's kind of what I brought that up. I watched that luncheon on QuestionCitySports.com, and I heard that, and I was like, I gotta ask him something about that. And you know, I'm not a duck hunter myself. I mean, I'm like you. I'm a transplant as well. I'm not from Louisiana. I mean, I live here, but yeah, that was a funny story. What about what other check boxes have you not hit for Louisiana yet? Have king cakes, crawfish, or what?
Yeah, no,
what have you not hit yet?
I've tried to do all of them. You know, like I said, I'm not a very tall guy earlier, so I've got to watch the eating thing. But you know, honestly, I've just the people, like I said, of the state, the Southern hospitality thing being a real deal, and I'm honored to be a part of that. And the best part of being in Louisiana for me is being the coach here and this ballpark and get to represent, you know, the university that everybody loves here. And, you know, this is my spot. I plan on being here as long as I possibly can.
Well, we're thankful that you're here, and you have done a great job. My last question to you before I turn it back over to VK. What would it mean to you personally if this LSU team pulls the repeat and gets you a back-to-back? What would it mean to you personally?
Yeah, I don't think in those terms often, and if you know me well, you'll know that. Like, I want to have a good practice here in about 15 minutes.
Okay.
That's how I think. But yeah, I mean, my whole this is the way I answer that is my whole life is built around Omaha, and I think LSU has only gone to Omaha 2 years in a row, one time in the 2000s, and so we've kind of looked at this year. It's like, hey, could you guys leave as the most successful group of players in LSU baseball in the 2000s? I think that would be something really cool if everybody could say that about the guys that'll leave us after this year, whether they were here 1 year, 2 years, or 3 or 4 or 5, in Hayden Travinsky and Alex Milazzo's case. So that's kind of what we're attacking, and certainly excited to do that.
Coach, we have one question from one of our viewers, one of our wonderful viewers. He says, what was so attractive about the LSU?
Yeah, I mean, really everything. And I mentioned I was very invested in Arizona and very proud to be the coach at the University of Arizona, and viewed that as my lifetime job. There really wasn't even a thought of leaving. And then how it all kind of materialized, it just was in a position like there's no way I'm saying no to this because of what made it attractive. When I think about my lifetime in college baseball, and that's essentially what it's been as like a young fan. I never thought about really playing in the major leagues. I always wanted to be a college baseball player that got to play in the College World Series. Like, that was attainable. Never did it, obviously, but that was what I thought was attainable. And then who are the best programs? Stanford, Texas, Arizona State, LSU at the top, Miami. So to be able to go to the one that was the most successful, or has been the most successful in my lifetime, and get a chance to be the head coach, man, that was something else. And, I really wanted to be at a place that really, really cared about college baseball. We have a great athletic department, but in my heart, I'll always view us as a baseball school. And, this doesn't exist very many places, and just super thankful to be here.
Well, looking at your schedule down the line more than anything else, you're going to be getting a rematch against the University of Florida. I know it's a long ways away, but at the same time, what's the thoughts that you're going to be rematching? I know it's the SEC team, but you're going to be rematching against these guys. It's starting to be a very intense rivalry between your teams.
Yeah, great program, and they've been as consistent as anybody. I marvel at their consistency, and they're well coached. They always have more talent, or as much talent, than anybody, and makes it fun. And the 2 years here, it's been fun, competing against the Gators, and I'm excited. This will be our first time with me as the coach playing them here, and really excited about it. It's going to be a massive test. And it'll be a great weekend for college baseball.
Well, you open up one last thing, Coach, before we let you go and everything else. You open this weekend, VMI and Central Arkansas. Seems like it's some sort of a showcase or something like that. We see that a lot in all levels of college baseball, that that one team hosts two teams and have a little weekend little thing. Tell us about this opening weekend.
Yeah, we're excited. VMI, who we opened with on Friday, is like one of the best returning hitting teams in the country. They hit 322 as a team. To put that in context, we hit 308, so they can rake. They had 192 stolen bases, which was first in the country, so really good offense. Central Arkansas, they're coached by one of my good friends, Nick Harlan, actually a high school teammate. He does a great job. They have 6 older players back, and so it's gonna be competitive, just because it's not names that maybe you hear or think of in the SEC. Like, this would be a good test for our team to get started,
and a good chance for the LSU fans and other fans to come out and experience LSU baseball at the box this weekend, as LSU will take on VMI and Central Arkansas. Jay Johnson, national champion and the head coach of the LSU baseball Tigers. Thank you so much for joining us, taking time out to join us on the Hash Out Show We definitely appreciate it. Do me one favor, Coach, if you could. The one thing you should do on your Louisiana list, go get a stuffed snowball. Get your
I'm on
stuffed
it.
snowball.
I'm on it.
A snowball is your favorite flavor, but meaning get ice cream in the middle. So I'm telling you, it'll be real nice, and you'll get everything etched off. Because
I'm on
I
it.
already know you ate everything, seafood and all.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Nope, no problem. Thank you, and wish you luck for this season.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Coach.
That was Coach Jay Johnson of the LSU Fighting Tigers, defending national champions. They will kick off their season this Friday against VMI and then also against Central Arkansas as these teams will rotate and play over this weekend through Friday tomorrow. George Pep is with us. George, your thoughts on head coach Jay Johnson joining us and, what he's thinking going into the 2024 season?
Well, I mean, it's a little different feel when you consider that they've got what everybody wants. And I always look at body language and how coaches kind of like react and really just how they talk about, upcoming seasons. But in this context, VK, they're the champs. Everybody's coming. They're going to get everybody's best shot. VMI Central Arkansas first up this weekend. You would think they should handle their business in both those that get together, and maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't think the focus will be more on the result. I think the focus will be more about how this team looks. It's the eye test. Um, but and I mentioned when I asked him about the SEC, uh, you of all people know how tough that conference is. I mean, there's a lot of sluggers in there. Arkansas is good, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Florida, Kentucky's improved. Teams like that. Um, but for this season, I expect to see this team highly competitive. Going to be a team that's got a very dangerous chance to go back to Omaha. That's an amazing stat. That only one time did they go back to Omaha in the 2000s. That's amazing because considering the length of how many times they've won VK, that's an amazing number, and that blew my mind. I didn't even know that. But yeah, the duck hunting thing. I heard that on the at the luncheon. You went, and I heard that. I was like, man, I got to ask him. Uh, that's actually funny. But Jay Johnson is a pleasant individual. I'm happy that he's the coach of LSU and he's doing great things. He doesn't have that thoroughbred though. Skeens. I mean, Paul Skeens was the robot pitcher for him last year. He could go out there and throw 120, 130 and just be back in 3-4 days. And I'm good, coach. Let's go. But he confirmed everything I said the night of Game 3. He confirmed because I kept thinking, "There's no way he's going to put him in there. There's no way." And you and I pretty much were in agreement. It's like, nah, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. Especially when the bats got hot late when they exploded. They won by like 19, I think, or something like that. I mean, they destroyed Florida.
Yeah, they
And
sure did. And
and
you think about it more than anything else. I was thinking at the time, like sometimes it's not surprising he said that because sometimes what they say, you always got to keep that one bullet in the chamber, and that's
mhm.
just the case. We've seen it in the past in all levels of baseball, especially in clinching games. They always have that best hand ready to go. And talking with Nunez head coach Glenn Powell early, it was like if it's a game against a really good team and we got a chance to win, I'm doing my best, and I don't care what happens in the second game. I'm going to win, and that's a good mentality for any coach to have.
Oh, absolutely, no doubt. I mean, some coaches have different theologies. How they approach and how they attack. And Jay Johnson's a guy that's gonna look out for the player. I mean, I'm not saying other coaches don't, but it's a strategic mindset. It's how do I do it? And when he said what Paul Skeens told him, said, I can give you 30 pitches and I think we'll be okay. But I want to start an inning instead of having to be the guy to come in the middle of an inning, you know, give him the proper preparation. And, I mean, you don't have him on your roster, but Thatcher Hurd was a guy, VK, that really came of age in the tournament last year. That young man is going to be a star for that LSU team on that mound this year. I think when you forecast, and it's way too early. It's a couple of days early from the regular season, but you can't help but look at it. In our profession, we always try to make predictions. And do we hang our hat on them? No, but this LSU team It would be a disappointment if they don't get to Omaha, but that would speak to the depth of college baseball. VK, if LSU doesn't find the same success that they had last year, I think they understand the challenge that awaits them. I think they're going to be just fine. They're expected to do well. I mean, the rankings tell you they're number two in a lot of polls. Wake Forest has been number one in a lot of polls. Florida's up there. But LSU is going to be a team that's going. We going to see that we might have to make that return trip to watch them play again in Omaha. But and look, they're not the only good Louisiana baseball team this year. I think we got some good baseball teams in Louisiana. UNO is going to be good. Tulane, you would think, is going to be improved, even off a tournament appearance. But as a team, they'll be better. Louisiana Tech is going to be good. The SWAC, I think, is going to be all right.
And we can't forget about Nickel State. They were
No,
turning everybody from last
mm,
year's team that made the tournament. I'm gonna be like this, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Nickel is gonna be between. To be honest, looking at it, it's gonna be between Nickel State and also UNO possibly to compete for the Southern Conference Championship.
don't
That's
forget
how.
Lamar. Don't forget Lamar, BK.
We can't forget about Lamar. But to be honest, those two teams really stand out. No disrespect to Lamar, but at the same time, when you have a lot of players coming back from a team that went to the tournament, and then
And
UNO returning a good bit of experience back, especially from last year's good run. I expect those two, but Lamar is definitely going to be right there in the mix. It should be a great year in college baseball. We will cover for you in the Hash It Out Show. Joining me right now is the CEO of the Hash It Out Show. And you know I wasn't gonna mess you over, dude. We see you, but we appreciate you coming on. Our good friend Jared JB Boy, what's going on, man? And we can't hear you. You're on mute.
sound, sir.
Sound, we can't hear you, though.
First of all, hello everybody out there.
What's
I
up,
want to
brother?
know how was he going to try to mess me over? I don't know how you could do that. Number one, but
It's
look,
Monday morning. He can't be talking like that.
but look. It's I want to thank VK for running this today. I had to work during the interview, so just got off and here I am. But it's funny. People, you don't know that VK Jones used to have a show called the VK Jones Show. I get a text from VK saying, "Hey, you can come on now." I'm like, wait a minute. Did I start this? Did I start the
Oh,
Hash It Out show?
I
hold
just
on,
saw
hold
Did
on,
that.
hold
I
on, hold
get
on.
you logged up in here?
Did you just tell me text you when everything's done, right?
I said, yes.
Say,
Text me. Yes. Text me when Coach Johnson goes off. He texted me, but he says, you can come on now. Like, it's so funny. It's so
I'm
funny.
like this, dude. I'm trying to work and
You're
do
doing
this
it.
thing.
Hey,
Exactly. So
you did your thing.
host got to think on the run. That's all
Yeah.
it is, man. But
Look,
what are your thoughts on Jay Johnson? I know you watched some of the interview. Your thoughts on him and the thoughts on the LSU baseball season coming up.
well, when he was hired, I thought he was the right guy for the job. So I think LSU will be fine. They're gonna have the hitters. You're gonna be missing Cruz and Morgan. That was two studs that they had. So you got to replace those two. I think he said he got a couple people that came in through the transfer portal. Um, Skeens was just phenomenal, and he's gonna go down in history as one of the best ever at LSU. So now it's up to Thatcher Hurd, everybody else, to come back and carry the load for the pitching part. I think they're gonna be fine. They're ranked number two, number one. I think they'll be fine, and we'll just see what happens. It's a great team last year. It's hard to repeat in college baseball, but we shall see what happens. I think they're going to be a good team.
Absolutely, and you look at it. Thatcher Hurd's going to be the guy, but watch out for Nate Ackenhausen. He's going to really step it up this year for the Tigers. And those two are going to really lead the way this year for the LSU pitching. LSU is going to be interesting. I cannot wait to see what happens this year. They do host Florida. It's a big time SEC matchup and national championship match. So I'm hoping my schedule's clear. I want to go to that one. But it should be a great season coming up. College baseball is going to be loaded. We're going to cover it right here on the Hash It Out Show, right here on YouTube Live and on Facebook Live. We thank you for joining us. D Gibb, appreciate the compliment, bro. I am at Noah Suarez Stadium in Chalmette. That's where Nunez will be playing today. They play all their home games here. They will be hosting Mississippi Gulf Coast in a doubleheader today at 1 p.m. If you want to come by, Come on by. And I'll have the link up later. It'll be on tsbnsports.com. We will have both games today starting at 1 p.m. So, hash it out show right here. And we got a couple of things before we get on out of here. Let's talk a little bit about prep basketball. We got some.
Second,
Oh, go ahead.
we're going straight to prep basketball right now, boys. I want to speak about the girls right after, very quickly.
That's cool. And I did mention in the beginning of the show. So
Cool.
we said something about the boys and the girls. So let's
Mhm.
go ahead with the boys matchups. Some unbelievable, and I've never seen anything like this. We have seen this maybe in the last couple of years, in the last week of the regular season. So many great non-district / district matchups to end the season. One of them is today. We had two great matchups. Country Day is hosting Slidell up in Country Day today, 5 p.m. Then at 6, you will have the Battle of Algiers on Lundy Grove. Car and LB Landry going against each other in a great matchup today. And then some other matchups this week. Liberty is going against Zachary on the road, and that will be
Okay.
for their district championship and possibly for a top seed in either division, because Liberty's in non-select and Zachary is in selects. I'm sorry, Liberty's in select and also Zachary is in non-select. So a win from either one, they might clinch a 1 seed in either one of their divisions. And also another big matchup, the Battle of the Big Men coming up Thursday night between Dejon Leatherman and, if I get his
Alec
name right,
Graves.
yep, Alex Graves. They will go against each other as Carver takes on Ponchatoula Thursday. Let's start off with George first. George, what are your thoughts on these great matchups coming up this week in prep basketball to end the season?
For those of you that are fans of the Hash It Out show, Jared, JB Boyd, myself, and VK Jones will wind up meeting us. We're going to be at the Battle of Algiers watching that game tonight. And that's the one I want to start with because Edna Carr has really come of age here. I think they've clinched the Catholic League, if I'm not mistaken. They have. Okay. And what does that say about their playoff prospects? Pretty good, you would think. Although do they have the skins on the wall to make a deep run? We'll see. I think they have the talent and the temerity to do so. But this is a heck of a test. LB Landry, a proven commodity. It's going to be at the Landry Gymnasium, 6 o'clock tip off. I think this is going to be a fascinating matchup. A lot of talent on that floor. And this is, to me, the perfect prep for a playoff game. It's going to have a playoff atmosphere. I think SRO is the three initials you want to use for this game. Standing room only. I feel like it's going to be one of those. So, and I know Jared and I we're going to actually going to get an early start to get there. Trying to beat the traffic, man. You know we know about Lundigran, the traffic and the parades. We get it. So guess what? We gonna find ourselves at every Landry a little bit early. And hey, better early than late. That's what isn't that what they always say. But you mentioned some other matchups. I wanted to, but I said I'm not going to. That to recap one, Eric won over West Jeff, just being messy. It's because Jared was making some funny stuff on me, trying to burden on me and stuff. But it is what it is, you know. But I think this matchup, Carl Landry, and then you mentioned Slidell and Country Day. That's a fascinating matchup. Mike McGuire has got his team playing right at the right time. If after what felt like a little bit of a wavy, kind of a inconsistent feel to their season. It feels like they've gotten themselves together. Country Day's a team you better pay attention to. Slidell too, because that league is a really good league, the 6-5A district. Um, that's going to be another fascinating matchup as well. But girls' playoff brackets, I think, are coming out today, if I'm not mistaken. Gentlemen, one of y'all know.
Oh,
I
they're
think
out.
the
They're out.
oh they're out. Okay.
Yeah, we'll get to in a second. They are out.
Okay, no, I was just I didn't know if they had come out yet. I hadn't had a chance to look. Post Super Bowl hangover and having to hear VK talking about I got the winner, I got the winner. Y'all lost. I'm like, man, okay, whatever. But no, and I'm looking forward to this matchup tonight, Jared. Hanging out and we'll be easy to spot. We'll be wearing our hash it out gear. Just saying. We will not be hard to find. I mean, there may be a cluster of people there, but we'll be easy to find. Um, but yeah, Jared, I think Carl Landry is the centerpiece matchup of all the ones that we're going to talk about. because of the what I mentioned, Catholic League champions, Landry, a, obviously a proven commodity as far as making a deep run. I think we're in for a dynamic matchup tonight.
When it comes to Carr and Landry tonight, for the Battle of Algiers, Landry coming off of a loss to Shaw and then beating Noma, which they should, but I think that loss to Shaw is still in the back of their heads. They're going to want to come out firing left and right and want to make a statement early to Edna Carr. And the Carr, on the other hand, district champions, they want to do the same thing. Both these teams don't want to lose to one another because the winner will get bragging rights for a whole year
Yep.
because it's the Battle of Algiers. Yeah, I'm getting there early because I'm trying to beat everybody else who's trying to get there. So this Carr and Landry game, man, it's great that both teams who are both from Algiers will be in the playoffs. We'll have a first round home game. This is great. It's what you want for Algiers. That both teams are doing phenomenally well. Slidell at Country Day. Slidell has had a great season. They're going to finish second in their district. Country Day has won their district, and who's a great team that has a chance to go to the top 28/March Madness. So that's a great matchup. But even Liberty and Zachary, and we know about the fight last year. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of patrolmen there to make sure nothing happens. Hopefully, we get a great game between Liberty and Zachary tonight. Two of the best teams in the state. So look out for that. But throughout the rest of the week, I'm just going to say that some of the games. Valentine's Day, Vanderbilt Catholic at Crescent City. On the 15th, Crescent City at Bonneville. Carver at Ponchatoula. St. Charles Catholic, who's had a great year, they're going to Country Day. The girls' playoffs start Thursday. And then February 16th, East St. John at Bonneville and Carr at St. Aug. You got a great week of basketball.
Oh, and don't
games.
forget, Crescent City goes to Bonneville that Thursday.
I said that.
Oh, I thought you said Vanderbilt Catholic.
I said Vanderbilt Catholic at Crescent City, and then the next day, Crescent City at Bonneville.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. I think the first match of Landry and Carr, did Landry win that one or was it Carr won that one?
And it's the only time they played.
No, they usually play twice. Let me check because they usually
when they were in the
twice.
same district. Not this time. Check, telling you.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just trying to make sure.
Even
when they're not in the district,
implying, sir. You're implying.
Huh?
He's implying, ladies and gentlemen, that I was wrong.
No, I'm just saying just to make sure.
He likes to be right.
No disrespect.
He's wrong about
They did play each other early in the season, and Landry won by 7, 52-45. So even if they don't play in the same district, they play twice.
Was it at Carr or was it like a tournament game?
No, this was at Carr.
Okay, cool. Well, this part
Usually
2.
13 plays twice, so this is part 2.
Oh, good.
And this is a chance. Now, if Landry do win, they really get bragging rights because they get the season sweep.
So well.
But if they lose, it'll be a split. But good momentum for Carl going forward, especially the way they're playing right now. They're playing very, very well at the right time, and they've been lights out, unbelievable, and breaking out in the Catholic League. Only 2 losses, and both to Jesuit. Yeah. So they're really playing well. This is going to be a great week of overall prep basketball. Talk about the girls' playoffs here, right here, because it's going to be interesting. Tell us about it, Jimmy. Go ahead.
Let me get to it right quick. Go over a couple of them. I'm going to start with Division I non-select, and I'm going to just let y'all know that the team to beat in Division I non-select is Walker. The Walker Lady Wildcats. They're 33-0. They have beaten any and everybody, all great teams. But I think there's one team that may have the chance to defeat them. Because when they played earlier, Walker defeated this team 57-53. And that team are the Mandeville Lady Skippers, who are the number 3 seed. So I think if Mandeville and Walker meet up, I think we're going to have a great game on our hands with that. Also, Denham Springs is there, another good team. You got Zachary girls who are also good. Got a good group of girls team here, and don't forget the defending state champs Parkway. That's Division 1 non-select. As I go to Division 2 non-select right quick, I think we all are in agreement. It is the Wasserman Invitational. I think Wasserman girls are the team to beat. I really don't know another team in Division 2 non-select that could beat Wasserman. I just don't see it. I don't see it at all. So I'm calling it the Wasserman Invitational. And until somebody shows me they could beat Wasserman, then we'll go from there. But I don't think Wasserman lose Division 2 non-select. I'm
This
going to,
is the Wasserman Invitational, indeed,
there you go.
and I agree. But at the same time, I'm gonna say this right now: Bastrop, Wasserman, Part 3 in the title game. Book it.
Okay.
Book it.
Okay.
Because I see Wasserman is the 3. I see that Bastrop is the 3, and
Three
they're on the
seeds.
other side. So
Yeah.
guess what? Like I said before, it might happen. So we'll see what
Okay.
happens.
All right. Division 1 select. I really think John Curtis may be the team to beat. I really think so. John Curtis got there last year and lost. Huntington, only 2 losses. So that's a surprise this year for Huntington. We know about St. Thomas more. We know about the Liberty girls. But I'm going to say this. When it comes to Warren Easton, 11 seed, district champions, they had one of their best players out most of the year. And he's come back for 2 weeks now. The team scoring has gone up. Defense has gotten better. That is Maya Peterson. Remember what I just said, Maya Peterson. So look out for Warren Easton. Look out. They can make a strong run. But my money is still on John Curtis. And I will go to Division 2 select. And I think we could call this the Lafayette Christian Invitational. Jada Richard and her team, they're just going to be hard to beat. Hard to beat. We know about Madison Prep. They played Madison Prep early in the year and came back and beat them in the second half. Vanderbilt Catholics down there, another good team. But I just think Lafayette Christian is just too strong. And when you got the best player in the state, who we saw bring her team back 20 points down to Wasserman and get the win, I just think Lafayette Christian is too strong for Division 2 select. Sorry.
Lafayette Christian is really, really strong and everything else, but don't be surprised if it be Lafayette Christian and Vanderbilt Catholic in the finals. And I'm gonna say this: Lafayette Christian should win. Vanderbilt's not gonna make it easy. Vanderbilt returns multiple starters and players from last year's top 2018. They're not going to easily give it to Lafayette Christian. Expect that to be a game if they're in the championship game. But I still think Lafayette Christian will come out the winners. But it's going to be a game against Vanderbilt because they are really good.
GP, any thoughts?
GP?
George Peppers?
George? Your thoughts, George?
Well, there we go. No, I muted myself. My bad.
That's right.
I did a VK. I'm sorry. I'm kidding. But no, let's talk about Division 1. My thoughts on Division 1 non-select. You
Okay.
mentioned a team I think that could actually beat Zachary, because remember when we had Coach Weinmunson on the show a month ago, what was it? You remember certain things Coach say. What did she say? At that moment they realized, holy cow, we can play with these girls.
Yeah.
So now you get them in a neutral court rematch situation. And look, Zachary's been terrific, and they are that team. But if there is one team in this bracket that could do some big damage, it's them. It's Mandeville. I think the Lady Skippers are going to get to the top 28 in Hammond, and we'll see what happens from there. And you know what? They don't see this team until the final. So what better spot, right? I
Hey,
mean, you would think.
I think Mandeville is looking forward to that matchup again, knowing that they lost to Walker by 4 points early in the year. I
Walker.
think they're looking forward to it.
Exactly. And they lost to him at their place.
Mm-hmm.
At Walker.
Yep.
Went in that hostile environment and played them to the T and got
Yep.
them to the end. You know, one team I was looking at, I think it was in Division One select. I think Higgins is the 14th seed. They're playing Dominican.
Yeah.
Now, what a story by the Lady Hurricanes. And we had their coach on last week, VK, that you weren't with us. And this man is so humble. And that group has gotten it together. They've got a home game because remember when we talked to them, they were in the 18 on the
Yeah.
road. They was the 18 seed. Now they're the 14. They get a traditional team in Dominican that has been consistent every year. It's a winnable first round matchup. But then if they do get past that, they get Liberty. Is it Liberty in round two? Yep.
Yeah.
And that's probably an exit. See you later. So I mean, that's going to be a team to watch. And you mentioned about Lafayette Christian, VK. And Vanderbilt Catholic has been a terrific basketball team. And if they will hook up in the final, there's one thing Vanderbilt Catholic does not have. It's a young lady named Jada Richard. And Jada is that X factor, that difference maker that's going to do some very good things throughout the playoffs for sure. And you wonder if Kim Mulkey will be in the building if they make the championship game. Just throwing that out there because she was able to shake VK's hand and not mine. You know, yeah, I'm I'm kidding, but look, Bunky's had a really nice year. They're the 5 seed in that bracket. I still follow the teams from the parish I used to live in, and that team has been really, really good. They'll see Lafayette Christian in the potential semifinal if they get there, and exit stage left. Lafayette Christian's going I was going to say the Superdome. I got to get the football mentality out of my head to Hammond. They're going to go to Hammond and do damage and win a state championship and send Jada to LSU with a ring. So, but looking forward to the girls' playoffs this week as they start Thursday night. It should be a very interesting lot to be sure. Um, I mean, and look, there's always going to be a Cinderella, a team that none of us are seeing that's going to make some runs somewhere. We don't know what division. And if we did, our bank accounts would be a lot better than this right now. Just throwing it out there. But VK, I mean, with the girls' playoffs, look, the entertainment is Jada Richard, and there's a lot of talent, a lot of talent in a lot of these divisions. But Mandeville Walker's a final I would pay to see because I feel like the Skippers can beat that team. They can beat them. They played them 57-53 on the road. Now you get them in a neutral court in Hammond. Why can't they beat them? Coach Wyman's going to be like, we went to them the first time and they realized it was like an epiphany. Like, wait a minute, we better than this.
And
We can win.
Walker
We can beat this team.
and Walker had some great teams in the past. The
Yes, they
biggest
have.
thing about them, they couldn't get over the hump to win their first state title.
Exactly.
This is another hump they're gonna have to get over.
Psychological.
And it's possibility that they could go in a championship game undefeated. And wow, if Mandeville can knock it off, and this could be as maybe as good as a championship as Parkway and Ponchatoula a couple years ago, we're gonna have a treat. But I'm gonna say this about Higgins, and I think Higgins could win that game. But watch out for them. They could pull off a massive upset. I seen Liberty play. And I'm going to say this about Liberty. They can get complacent. And the thing about them, if their big girl gets in foul trouble, they're a different team. I seen them against St. Amal, and St. Amal pulled off the upset. So trust me, Liberty's good, but they can be had and certain things don't go right. But we definitely appreciate everybody joining us here on the Hash It Out Show. Let's talk about one more quick topic, and we're gonna close this thing out because I got to get ready for this game in an hour. But Super Bowl last night, the Kansas City Chiefs getting it done, winning their third world title in 5 years, and also second straight, first back-to-back in a long, long time. Patrick Mahomes solidifying his straight-up legacy more than anything else. And man, let's let's get your thoughts first, Jared, on the game itself, the experience. It could have been better played, but we had a good competitive game, and Kansas City got it done a first time overtime in the Super Bowl.
That wasn't the first overtime ever. We had one before. You
Second,
forgot, yeah. You forgot 28-3.
Falcons, Patriots.
Oh yeah,
How could
oh,
you forget 28 to
Saints
three?
fan? Yeah, how
Come
you
on,
forget that,
man.
Saints fan?
I'm gonna say second ever overtime.
Yes, second
We
Well,
ever.
almost.
first time with the new rules with this one. So,
Yes, correct.
Oh, okay.
Yes, first time with the new rules. I enjoyed the game. Look, I know a lot of people want to see a lot of offense and high scoring. I like seeing a defensive matchup, defensive battle football game. I really do. So I enjoyed it. But it's crazy when you think about this. In the three Super Bowls that Patrick Mahomes has won, he's come back from behind in all three. That just speaks about his greatness. His greatness, man, to come back in three Super Bowls and win. And to me, it was a good game. 49ers went down in overtime, got the field goal, and I said, man, it's not a good feeling when Patrick Mahomes is on that field coming back to lead a drive in a game-winning drive. And that he did. Shots out to Kansas City Chiefs for winning. 49ers for the great year. Had a great chance to win it. Just didn't happen. Kyle Shanahan now is 0-2 as a head coach in the Super Bowl. We know about him being an offensive coordinator in Atlanta, 28-3. Maybe he's cursed. I don't know. But hey, it is what it is. I enjoyed the game. GP.
Well, there were, games have ebbs and flows and storylines. And for all you idiots that was putting out the NFL scripts, you could, I could paraphrase The Rock and I'll leave it alone from there. It's too early in the day for that, you know. But for me, there were a couple of points where this game really changed. Josh Moody, Jake Moody, I'm sorry, missing the extra point to put him up four, that gave Kansas City some wiggle room because instead of a touchdown, you got an automatic kicker in Harrison Butker, right? The guy hasn't missed all year, maybe one or two kicks on the year itself. So if they need a touchdown instead of a field goal, the plot thickens and it changes. The other part, and we talked about this before the show. I think the point toss in overtime where the 49ers won it. You defer. Even with the new rules, you defer. Take the ball second. Why? Because if you don't, you're ceding control. You're giving away control of your destiny. If you give them the football, if you give them the football first, and okay, what do they get? Do we need a field goal? Do we need a touchdown? Or do we need whatever? That's the part that I was questioning about. And then this morning, seeing Eric Armstead and a couple of players saying we didn't understand the new rule, that got me too. And then I see a comment, DG, yeah, Trey Greenlaw going out did hurt him. And you know what really was horrible? It wasn't even a football injury. It was a non-contact. He was walking on going on the field, I think, and the ACL popped. And
He
that
said Achilles.
Achilles, yeah, the Achilles tendon got him.
Yeah.
And of all things, just coming onto the field. I mean, and with the 49ers and their bad luck of practice fields this past week, because remember, there was a lot of griping about, hey, look, UNLV's practice field was no good, and they gave the Chiefs Allegiant Stadium. The fix was in, BK. KC got a better practice field. San Fran didn't. That's why they won. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But overall, it was a good competitive game. Was it executed properly? No. It was a sloppily played football game. And the most fortuitous play of that game was the Jawan Jennings wide receiver of the pass to Christian McCaffrey. That ball hung up there for a good, 10 minutes, it felt like. I was like, man, this thing looked like a dying quail. How it got into Christian McCaffrey's wheelhouse, I don't know. But see, the other part, the last part about this game that bothered me, they got away from Christian in the third quarter. When they got the interception, they did not feature him. Brock Purdy went a little cold in that second half, but they did not lean on that thoroughbred, BK. And no excuses made. Kansas City is that team. Kansas City is a two-time champion, first time in 19 seasons that this has happened. Um, what happens now going for the three-peat? You can guarantee they're not going to get it because nobody's three-peated. I mean, they're not going to win it next year. I mean, watch the script writers. They're going to come out and tell you Buffalo, Josh Allen's going to break through. Miami, they're going to fine tune things. The Ravens, they're going to fix up things right. I mean, am I saying KC's not going to get there? No, I'm just throwing it out there. Like, that's the plotliners, the ones that write, the ones that say they got the script. What's the script saying about 2025? Because I tell you what, let me know so I know not to bet it. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Indeed, indeed. All I'm gonna say, like what I'm saying, first of all, the halftime show was not bad at all. Kind of enjoyed it, but what I'm saying, I know you didn't enjoy it. The ultimate Usher hater.
No,
So,
I'm not a hater. Hold on.
I'm joking with you, man.
Why, when you give an opinion, people say, "Oh, you hating?" No, it's an opinion.
No, I'm messing with you.
I'm like, man, that wasn't all that. That's
it was cool with me. It could have been a lot more, but I enjoyed the appearances. The appearances cool. I think Swiss Beast is feeling some type of way right now, but it is what it is.
Man, white like that, man.
Awkward moment, very awkward moment indeed. But at the same time, it was a very good acting indeed. But next year, NFL, do me a favor, and this was a good idea. One of my homeboys said this yesterday. If you're going to put on a show, and I understand you might try to put on another act outside of hip hop, but you need to do an all New Orleans show. But here's the caveat.
That ain't happening.
No. It's not what you think. It's not what we're talking about. For one, you do have the cash money. Two, you do have No Limit on there. But also, you make it an all New Orleans show with Trombone Shorty and John Batiste. When you have all them on and make it an all New Orleans show, it's gonna be unbelievable. I think the NFL, I understand they're gonna try to go another way, but they need to do that for the city of New Orleans because I'm telling you, it's gonna make New Orleans look great.
They didn't do that for the West Coast Super Bowl. Yeah, you had Dre and Snoop, but you had Kendrick, but you had Eminem and 50 Cent, who ain't from the West Coast. They're not going to do all New Orleans at all. They may do the whole South. Rappers from Atlanta, New Orleans.
I was saying that. I said that too. I said I like that too. But at the same time, I think they're going to do the whole New Orleans maybe. But with the West Coast thing, you had to think about it. It was a Dr. Dre production. So he's putting anybody on that thing. So that's just being real with it.
If it was the West, what I'm saying is, you saying for New Orleans next year, all New Orleans performance.
It's a nice idea.
It's not going to happen because Dr. Dre had 50 and Eminem and Mary J. also. So that's what all California. That's what I'm saying. It's not going to happen.
Well, they need to do something. Like I said, you want something warm, but knowing the NFL, they're going to twist it.
Y'all be ready for Taylor Swift, who brought in over $300-something million to the NFL. Y'all get ready for Taylor Swift next year.
I hate to say this. I wish I can disagree with you, but I think you might be right. Got to swallow that, but still you got to respect Taylor. Taylor is that girl right now. But the game was really good and itself very competitive. It could have been a better played game, but still a good one. And I'll tell you one thing: Patrick Mahomes has proved himself. Punched his ticket to a first ballot as a Hall of Famer. He punched that ticket with that win, and at the same time, I think now Kyle Shanahan is one of the ultimate chokers in the NFL. 0-3 in the Super Bowl. Amazing. Like I said,
I won't say he choked on this one.
I said, well, not really, but you have to think you still haven't won the thing. You still haven't figured it out. You still haven't figured it out, so it's not good anyway. So
he lost.
He lost.
Well, we ain't got to worry about that next year. Dennis Allen and Dennis Allen and Derek Carr are going to the bowl, baby.
Cut his mic off, please.
Cut what mic off? Cut it out.
Cut his mic off.
I mean, this is the VK Jones dedication moment.
No, there ain't no dedication.
5-12 record gonna happen next year.
Do what?
Record.
Now, as far as the halftime for next year, y'all, though, I want to throw this in there. I thought it could have been better. For me, I thought it was subpar. Usher is not terrible at all. Now, I think Usher is an immense talent, but I felt like it looked sloppily rehearsed. I didn't like it at all. I thought it was not the typical Usher performance, and here we are grading halftime shows. Boy, what have we come to as sports analysts? That we're debating a halftime show for next year. I kind of came with a haphazard idea. You're talking about all Louisiana trombone shorty and Baptiste, and why not Britney Spears? Just saying, that ain't gonna happen. But why not her? It's not gonna happen.
She's done one already. She's done one already
I
with
know
his
she's been
featuring him.
out of the woodwork. I don't think it's going to happen either. I'm just saying, since we're talking about Louisiana people, oh, how about this one? We get VK to do halftime next year. We get VK Jones to do a halftime skit.
Get your turntable and bring out
Yeah,
some great artists. That's
that's
what it's
right.
about.
That's right. It's all in fun, y'all. It's all in fun.
It's
It's
all
Monday
in fun,
morning. It's
man.
Lundi Gras. It's Lundi Gras. And for those of you parading tonight, good for you. Hope you have fun. Me, it's prep basketball tonight with my boys. With
Absolutely.
my brothers right here. And we're gonna be in our hash it out gear. I'm just saying two of us will. We just need that third person to be in that hash it out. So, you
Yeah,
know,
we thank y'all for joining us today. We're gonna close things out here. And we thank the head coach Jay Johnson of LSU joining us this morning. We'd like to thank the viewers for joining us. Uh, this has been a great show. We worked hard to put it together and everything else, especially on this early Monday morning. Next week we will have some big time guests, and we'll let you know when we're going to have the shows and everything. One of our guests, we have a brand new head coach in prep football, so we're going to have him on there, and some big time guests on the prep basketball side and everything else. We're gonna go. It's going down. We get back into business here on the Hash It Out Show. Final words, George Peppers.
I mean, final words are the Super Bowl's over. And for those of you that are going to cry and complain about, well, no football until September or August or whatever, man, get out of here. There's other sports to partake in. College basketball's in the clutch month in February. This is where teams start to position themselves to get into the national tournament. College baseball's getting ready to start. The best two words in baseball are about to happen this week. Pitchers and catchers report. Major League Baseball. That's getting ready to start. So I don't want to hear this stuff about, well, I ain't got no football to watch. Who cares? And if you're going to come here and tell me with the merged XFL, USFL, you can have it. New Orleans is a team in it. It's not in it. I'm not watching. They can have that craziness. But I'll watch everything else but that. And of course, you got the prep for us. It's the prep basketball, girls and boys. Playoffs start this week with the girls, and the boys are finishing up the season this week, regular season. So lots to look forward to, and looking forward to hanging out with y'all tonight at Landry. It's gonna be a fun time, and and I don't know if we're gonna charge for autographs. So if somebody comes up to us, I'm not. I am.
JB.
Well, come next week, your boy JB will be hosting the show again, without a doubt. VK is loving this moment, boy, bringing back to the
VK
old
Carmichael. VK Carmichael.
VK Jones show days, man. Look at him, boy, he loving it. But nah, man, I couldn't get to the Jay
He did
Johnson
good
show in
today, though.
time, so I told VK Jones run the show today, and him and GP took care of that. I appreciate that. But like VK said, we got a bunch of guests coming on next week. The basketball playoffs start Thursday for the girls, and the boys start next week. So man, it's gonna be a fun ride with basketball.
Absolutely, man. We definitely appreciate you. Nunez is playing Mississippi Gulf Coast today, 1 p.m. at Noah Suarez Stadium in Chalmette. You want to come out and support? Come out and support. If you can't make it, I have the links up on the Facebook. On the post. Tune in 1 p.m. for the doubleheader between Nunez and Mississippi Gulf Coast. I want each and everybody to have a very blessed and happy Mardi Gras. Be safe. Don't drink and drive. And be careful out there. And we appreciate everybody joining us. For George Peppers, for Jared JB Boyd, I'm VK Jones. We will see you next week on the Hash It Out Show. Like, tag, share, and subscribe. to the Hash It Out Show. Like and share this show today. We appreciate it.
He pointing at y'all. He threatening y'all.
Whatever.
Hey, my name is Trayshawn Webb. I'm a DB for Brother Martin Crusaders, and you're watching the Hash It Out Show.